Ares moved quietly through the forest of Aokigahara. Ares had traveled far to reach Yomi no Kuni, the path to the underworld, in pursuit of his target. But the entrance was blocked by a mountain of rocks. Now he searched the Suicide Wood, where the border between hell and earth was the thinnest. It was entirely silent, not even the sound of rustling leaves. He then strayed into an area among the trees where the faint whispers of death invited him. He approached cautiously. Suddenly, a woman jumped out from the darkness like a spider, but was unable to get much closer as dirty and stained white ribbons, wrapped tightly around her wrists, prevented any escape from the trees. She viciously writhed towards Ares as if he were prey. She whispered to him to free her. If he did, she would grant him his greatest desire. Intrigued, Ares asked who this was. She introduced herself as Izanami. She then tried to seduce him, asking what he wanted. A lover, perhaps? Ares pushed her away, saying his lover is the most beautiful creature in the universe and that her temptations wouldn't work on him. Izanami changed her stance and offered him power in exchange for her freedom. He said he had no use of power, as he was already the most powerful god. He then saw she had nothing to offer him, and he made to leave. But she cried out for Ares to wait, and offered him vengeance. Ares stopped in his tracks, finally willing to listen. She said that all he had to do was name someone he sought, and she would find them for him. All she asked in return was to be freed from her shackles. Ares spoke the name of Anubis. Izanami was still for a moment, and then said that he was west of there. She offered to take him to Anubis. Ares frowned, then agreed. He swore he would free her once Anubis was dead, but until then, she would belong to him. He grabbed her ribbon chains and pulled. The Yellow River ran heavy with rain. Izanami pulled on her silken leash like a hound eager to hunt, but Ares kept her restrained. For days they had searched the river's northern banks for a way across, but the waters were rough and often broke into countless waterfalls. Angered by this torrential obstacle, Ares roared at the river. In answer, a geyser spouted upward, spinning, twisting, forming the lower path of a god, Herbois. The river god declared that he wouldn't allow the demon Izanami across. He would protect his land from that abyssal monster. Ares expressed his anger, and Izanami offered to kill the river god for him. However, scanning far westward, Ares spied mortals at the river's side. He observed their dependence on the river, fishing, milling grain, washing and bathing. Without the river, they would die. And without the mortals, Herbois would fade away. Further west still, cloud-covered mountains rejuvenated the great river with rain. Ares hefted Chark's axe and demanded the river let them pass, or he would rip those clouds from the sky. Herbois' face tightened, then fell. He would not risk the lives of those mortals who worshipped him and depended on his power. He called Ares as much a monster as the creature he had leashed beside him, before raising a hand into the air. The waters calmed, forming a safe path across. Izanami sneered at the defeated river god as Ares led her across. She whispered to Ares as they climbed the southern bank that they could still kill Herbois. Ares ignored her words, gripping the axe in his hand tighter. They had crossed the river that obstructed him. Anubis was just ahead of them. Herbois was nothing anymore. And yet... She urged him to kill Dubois, and her seduction worked. He raised Chark's axe and swung it through the air. The distant clouds over the great mountains split, then dissipated like smoke. The rains ceased. Dubois cried out in horror, and Ares turned away, pleased that no one would even remember Dubois, the river god, once the mortals have perished. Winter fog swallowed Ganesh's temple. Though Ares could see little, he trusted Izanami to lead him to where he desired. This white temple, with arches adorned at all four sides, had flickering braziers that pushed back the fog and illuminated the closed, ornate doors on each side. Atop the temple rested a tranquil statue of the elephant-faced god, painted gold by the shimmering eclipsed sun. Izanami proclaimed that Anubis was hiding within the temple. Ares marched over, dragging the demon with him. He tried using force against the intricately decorated door, but it did not budge. He pushed again, exerting his mighty power, but the door did not yield. A third time he heaved, using all his strength, but his efforts were in vain. Ares cursed the door for not opening to him, and a calm voice from above replied, "The path was blocked, therefore it will not open." It was that simple. The statue atop the temple wasn't an actual statue, but Ganesh himself, the god of obstacles. Ares accused Ganesh for concealing Anubis and demanded the doors to be opened so that he could express his wrath against his father's murderer. Ganesh remained steadfast. He explained to Ares that today was a day of decision. Two roads lay ahead. One road led into the temple and to his vengeance, but concluded with the destruction of the world. It would include the burning of the world, the killing of the innocents, and the destruction of everything Ares held dear. The other road led home, where he could mourn his father, forego his revenge, and bring about unprecedented peace to every pantheon and all mortals. Ares didn't hesitate on his decision. He was too close to his prey. He was no god of peace. He was the god of war. He ordered Izanami to burn the temple, and she gleefully toppled each brazier. Smoke and flames crawled up the walls and engulfed the temple. Ganesh was gone, and the doors were opened. Anubis leapt from the burning temple, and Ares was on him instantly. They wrestled until Ares came out on top, with his blade pointed towards Anubis's chest. Anubis pleaded his innocence, but Ares cared little about his guilt, and shoved the steel blade through his enemy. All that mattered to him was his vengeance. Silently, Anubis went limp. Izanami slowly approached him and reminded him of his oath. He rose from his slain foe and granted her her freedom, releasing Izanami's ribbons. She cackled and vanished into the fog. He turned and watched the temple burn.